Hi, welcome back to my knitting video podcast, Knitted by Nails. If you're a new viewer, welcome. I hope you enjoy hanging out with me today. I'm Katharine, aka Nails, and I'm coming to you from my office/craft room at home in Berkshire in the UK. If you're a returning viewer, thank you so much for coming back for another instalment. I really appreciate your support and all your comments. Even though it's been longer since our last episode, things here are still a little bit disrupted. Our next door neighbour's building work continues, so I might get interrupted by hammering and grinding and things. We think, ironically, that they're having soundproofing installed. Yeah, go figure. Today I am wearing my painting brick sweater, which, if you have watched previous episodes, has been my whip all the way through. So I guess now it counts as an FO, or a finished object. Yeah, so the painting brick sweater, I actually haven't blocked it yet. And mostly it's because, well, I just liked it the way it was. And I was like, well, I'm ready to start wearing it. So let's start wearing it. There's some little voice in the back of my head going, oh my God, what if when you block it, it starts to grow and get really big? I don't think it will. I don't think either of the yarns I used were superwash, although I should probably check that now that I'm saying it. I've still got my project bag down here with stuff in. So yeah, so this is knitted in. The dark grey is this Drops Extra Fine Merino, and let's have a look. So this says it's just 100% wool there. Obviously merino because it says so on the label. Yeah, super wash treated. So yeah, I might, that might be an entirely substantiated, is that the right word? Feeling? I don't know, I could be just making things up. That feeling could have, grounds in reality, as superwash yarns do tend to sort of grow a bit when you get them wet. So yeah, I know that when I block this, I'm going to have to be very careful shaping it. So yeah, that might be putting me off a tiny bit. But I like the way it looks, so why not start wearing it? Should I do you a little twirl? Let me just make sure that I can see myself when I do this, so I'm definitely in frame for you. Yeah, so I think if I was making it again, I might go down a size, because really the only thing that the size impacts is the size of this circle around here. And I've got quite a lot of extra fabric kind of under the arms. I've got like a lot going on here, which I don't think it looks bad, and it makes it quite warm. But I feel like I could go for a more fitted look, and especially with the superwash yarn, and it might grow when I block it as well. So yeah, I think I might go down a size next time, but I love it. Yeah, very happy. I like the cuffs being nice and long, having short little arms. I love knitting my own sweaters because, it means that I never have to worry about, floppy, long monkey arms on my jumper. Not to say that people with normal length arms are monkeys. It's just, that's the way it makes me feel. Yeah, so I like it basically. So yeah, the grey is the Drops Extra Fine Merino, and the other colour is Grello, which is a merino nylon by For the Love of Yarn. So yeah, check that out. This is both a DK weight. I think though the Drops was a thicker yarn. I would almost say it was an Aran, and this feels like a lightweight DK. But the great thing about a lot of Stephen West patterns is they're quite forgiving when it comes to yarn weights, and it really didn't seem to have a negative impact when I was making this, that the yarns weren't exactly the same, let's say that. Right, so that's what I'm wearing. What next? Yeah, so today, in this episode, I want to talk about some new additions to our home and little family here. About 4 or 5 weeks ago, let me think about this. Yeah, 4 or 5 weeks ago, let's go with that. We got a pair of guinea pigs. We were supposed to adopt a pair of elderly lady pigs, from a local rescue centre, but it turned out that one was ill and would need ongoing care. So it was against the shelter's policy to rehome a sick animal. So the pair will stay there in their excellent care as permanent residents. So at the time, there were no other piggies available for adoption. Pip and I, we talked about it and agreed that the empty cage that we had set up and waiting in the living room was just making us both sad. Some days I would just find myself standing next to it, staring at the empty space where our pets should be. I had heard about a pet shop in Reading that had some guinea pigs via a local Facebook guinea pig group. So I called them up and they said they had a pair of boars. So we figured it really couldn't hurt to go visit them, to go see them. Well, obviously we came home with them. I'm going to include some videos. So yeah, I'm going to move over a little so I can add videos. So yeah, I want to share with you the moment when the bolder, and we think a little bit older pig, encouraged his friend to come out and explore their new home. Pip has set up 2 motion triggered cameras in their cage. It was a really great way to be able to see all the cute little things that they do without constantly disturbing them. It's really fun to look at the clips in the morning and see what they got up to overnight. The younger, shyer pig, he got his name really quite quickly. He went straight for a piece of green pepper as soon as I put veggies in their cage. He also has that little salt and peppery stripe across his back, so his name is Pepper. Not to be confused with Peppa Pig. No, this is Pepper. The other one, he didn't tell us his name for quite a few days. We knew that it would need to be something quite bombastic and over the top. A little bit ridiculous because he loves to strut around like he owns the place, running, bouncing, popcorning. So, you know, we've been throwing names around and you know, he wasn't nodding at any of them. And in kind of a moment of last-ditch naming efforts, I threw Tiberius out there, mostly due to its Star Trek connection. Pip liked it too because of the Roman Emperor vibes. So Tiberius, or Tibs for short, it was. And by far the most accurate response to these names has been from one of Pip's colleagues, and I'll put the message up on the screen so that you can see it. I think it sums them up perfectly. Tibbs like runs around getting in your face and Pepper mostly sits and eats. Yeah. Hello. When we first got them, I was really worried about Pepper. He didn't seem to walk like a guinea pig. He hopped like a bunny, and I tried Googling it. People were saying that it could be due to a vitamin C deficiency, or maybe even something more serious. So I kind of knew I had to take him to the vet. So taking guinea pigs to the vet is, you know, it's not as straightforward as you might think. I thought, oh yeah, we know any vet is going to be able to deal with guinea pigs. But from my research ahead of time, I realised that guinea pigs are considered exotic and that not all vets are, you know, fully trained to deal with them. So again, back to the kind of local guinea pig Facebook groups, and you know, so I ended up finding a vet that a few people had recommended that really wasn't far away, because I didn't want them to have a long journey in the car and get stressed out, because they'd only just come to us, and I thought, oh, they've been in a pet shop, they've been in the car, they've been here, you know, I want them to be able to settle in, you know, not just be constantly going to new places and seeing new people. So yeah, so kind of the closest vet that I could find a recommendation for was the one that we went to, and the vet pretty much agreed with Google and said, well, you know, he doesn't seem to be lame or in pain, you know, he can move around and he seems happy, so we're confident he's not in pain. It could be the vitamin thing, so try, you know, so with plenty of space to move around and run about and good diet, so like plenty of different vegetables and things, you know, he should improve. But I was told, you know, if he didn't improve, to bring him back, they'd try some painkillers and see if that led to him walking, and you know, that would be, you know, a way of investigating if he was actually in pain. But they were fairly confident he wasn't, so you know, I brought him home, and you know, we have been rolling out a real smorgasbord of veggies, you know, you know, every time I go buy veggies, I try and find something different for them to try. They seem to love just about everything except for sprouts and grapes. These are the only two things that don't really get eaten if I put them in the cage. Everything else disappears. And they just can't get enough cucumber or, well, peppers. They love those. Carrots. They just go absolutely bonkers for carrots. I don't know what it is, but yeah, just carrots. They lose their minds. I did read somewhere that too much carrot for guinea pigs can be bad because like high levels of vitamin A, it can lead to like them putting on like overly much weight or something. So so I've been trying to not give them too much carrot, but carrot's like their special treat because they love it so much. So so yeah, that's our little guinea pigs. And Pepper, you know, within just like 2 or 3 days, we could see him like taking little steps, and I could just watch him walk now for hours. It just absolutely like melts my heart to see him just like walking around. And just like I'm so proud of you. I love you so much. Yeah, just Pepper taking little. He does occasionally hop. I feel like maybe hopping was something familiar. And you know, so sometimes he'll like, you know, be sitting and eating, and then, you know, he'll want to go back in his little house, and he'll start off with a little hop, and then he like remembers he can walk and walks the rest of the way. Yeah, I love watching him walk. He's got one white back leg and one black back leg. It's just the most adorable thing in the whole world. And Tiz has just continued to be, yeah, Mr. Bombast. Yeah, he's just bouncing around all the time. He runs, he jumps. He did an absolutely massive jump the other night. Like he just like, like he does the biggest popcorns I've ever seen. He just, you know, Pepper is sat in a pile of hay, just munching away happily, and then Tibbs goes boing and just like lands on him. They've got a little house, a little carrot house. So if you have small pets, like, you know, like guineas, hamsters, rabbits, you might have heard of these. They're these little like hay houses, and they're called a carrot house because they have like this little dried carrot roof. And the idea is that it's a house that they can nibble and like eat. So that they like this little carrot house that they've got. They haven't destroyed it in the way that a lot of guinea pigs seem to destroy their houses, but they do like having a nibble. And Tibbs does like to jump up onto the carrot roof because it's quite a solid little house. I think it's some kind of like very plain cardboard underneath, and then it's like got all this hay like embedded in it. It's like a grass house, so they can eat the sides and everything in the roof, and the roof's got this little carrot roof. Pepper has just infinite patience with Tibbs. I have a highlight on my Instagram, which is all guinea pig related. So it's a little bit about, you know, the story. The thing I start off with is their house arriving, their cage, and then me like getting that all set up for them and everything. Well, me and Pip, obviously. And then it kind of goes through, and I share videos some days from the little cams that monitor their cage. It is difficult to share the little cameras that are in their cage, because obviously the videos that come out are very much landscape, and obviously sharing them to Instagram on stories wants them to be portrait. So I have to kind of try and resize them, and then obviously like each segment of video, it's like trying to get it in the same place. Anyway, I try my best. So, you know, if you want to see more adventures from Tibbs and Pepper, you're probably best to have a look at my Instagram story highlights and find them on there. I'll also put a link in the description below, just in case you want more. So I guess you've met the new members of my family. So yeah, should we get on to things like whips and stuff? Should we look at knitting? This is a knitting podcast. What do you think? Maybe. Okay. Right, I need some tea. Right, what have I got on the needles right now? Sock. I think is about the answer to this question. So I think in the past episode I told you that I was trying to knit a bunch of socks for family. So I've got a few FOs for you, and a current knit on the needles. So let's have a look at this current one. I'm just going to pop it on a blocker because it's like a ribbed sock, so it looks really weird. You know, it just goes into this little skinny tube and you think, oh, that's not a sock. So yeah, so I'm not really using a pattern, I'm just knitting a sock. So yeah, so it's just kind of a vanilla sock, except I've done it ribbed, kind of all the way down, plain bottom. So yeah, this one is it's going to be for a fairly small foot, a sort of me-sized foot, sort of size 3, 4, that kind of thing. So these are Knit Pro blockers. They're just acrylic plastic. They're quite light, so they're easy to hang up to dry. The holes in them are fairly big. So, you know, it's not like it's a solid thing that, you know, the air can't get around. So the socks dry pretty quick on these. I guess in an ideal world, I might not have bought plastic, but I did. And now I've got them. I'm not going to like throw them out and get something different. I'm going to use them until they are used, until they can no longer block a sock. So basically I will still be blocking on these when I'm 100. I think that's about it really. I do intend to go back to the UFO of that Christmas cardigan, the modernist cardigan that I talked about in a past episode. I just haven't quite got round to going back to it just yet. I would quite like to finish it, and I feel like I could get it finished before December, so then I could, you know, wear it on Zooms and stuff, and on the podcast for Christmassy episodes. Later today I should have something else going on to the needles, because I've had an order for a Christmas tree scarf from my Etsy shop, and it's one that I don't have pre-knitted. So yeah, I'm just waiting for a couple of balls of wool to arrive, just a couple of colours I didn't have in, and I decided to try a couple of different acrylic DKs, because I really want to put together a video where I compare a whole bunch of value acrylic DK, because I know that it, you know, acrylic, not amazing for the environment, but actually it's a very practical thing and a very good value thing. And, you know, I'm not here to tell anyone not to use the yarns they can afford, or the yarns that they need to use, because, you know, they've got a young family and you need to be able to throw stuff in the washing machine and that. I do use acrylic yarn to make my Christmas tree scarves, because they are something that should last forever. They're timeless things, and they shouldn't really need to be washed and create a lot of like microplastics in water. It should just be something that, you know, goes on a Christmas tree, comes off and goes in a box, comes out, goes on a Christmas tree, you know. So hopefully they will be kind of heirloom items as well, fingers crossed, that people aren't just kind of using them once and throwing them out. And it makes them affordable. Really, if you're knitting it in natural fibres, it gets quite expensive quite quickly. So yeah, to make it affordable, I mean, I already don't really charge a decent wage for my time to make them. So I just make them because I love them, and I'm just a little bit obsessed with them, and I'm probably going to make them anyway, so I might as well sell them to people. Knitting them with acrylic yarn makes them affordable, so I'm totally okay with that. So I thought if I tried a couple of different ones, I could do a comparison video for the channel. I tend to use a lot of Stylecraft Special DK, just because it's got a huge range of colours. I think there's something like 96 colours now. I may be wrong, so do correct me in the comments if you know. I could just Google it, obviously, but I don't want to, you know, go away from you. That's what I use most of, and kind of the colours that I've got here I have listed on the Etsy shop. I can get those wholesale as well, so it's a little bit less money for me, which means a little bit more profit when I do sell them, a little bit more money for my time. But sometimes, you know, if there's not a color I can get, or I started making it with a different color because I had it at the time, then I do use others. So there's a couple of scarves where I use Hayfield Bonus, because I don't think it's as nice a yarn, but they do have some good colors. So yeah, I do use those sometimes. And also Hobbycraft has a Women's Institute DK, which is like a really nice one, and that has a few colours. It's just about the only one I found which has a nice yellow. A lot of yellows in acrylic yarn are just horrible, whereas this one is like, it's just a nice proper yellow. I used that recently with the Intersex Pride tree scarf. So yeah, I wanted to do a video comparison of like all my favourites. So I've got one from, is it Deramores? I hope I'm saying that right. I've only ever like visited the website and seen it on a label. I don't think I've ever actually heard anyone say it. And I think I've bought a King Cole DK, I think. We'll have to wait and find out when it arrives, won't we? So that will go on the needles later today once that arrives. It is scheduled to arrive today. Actually, it could arrive at any moment. So if I hear the door go, I will run away. But you'll understand, right? It's yarn. Right. So that is whips. The whips were, in case I've rambled on too much and you've forgotten. Mostly it's a sock in this nice cream yarn with all little pops of colour. It's nice pink and blue and yellow, mostly little bits of purple as well. And this yarn is a merino, definitely merino. I'm thinking it was a merino nylon because I think it was a sock, but I've lost the ball band. So, and this was a Skein Queen skein of yarn, and I bought this at Unravel. So this was back in like 2018. So this is when Skein Queen was still Debbie Orr. Yeah. So that's what that is. And that's been floating about. As you can see, it's all wibbly wobbly because I frogged another project. I put it in this sweater I was knitting and it just really wasn't working. So I was like, yeah, let's rip that out, and it can be very pretty socks. So, which brings me on to FOs, because I have already made one pair of socks with it. And it only used one. So I obviously had it rolled into 2 balls. And it only used one of them, so I was like, well, I can get another small pair of socks out of the other one, even if it wasn't, even if it was the smaller ball. So so yeah, I have this pair, which is sort of a medium size, sort of 5-6 feet, I think, probably. Yeah, so I'm knitting socks for family and friends this year for Christmas. So that's one FO for you. So these are on my medium size sock blockers. They're the same ones as the small ones I had before. Again, just a vanilla sock. I knit I like to have quite a nice wide rib at the top. I don't know, I really want to feel like it grips my foot. So after I take these off the blockers, what I will do is I will get the rib bit wet again and then re-dry the sock, but I'll just get the rib wet. I'll just kind of dunk it, and that way it will shrink back up again and be grippy, because it blocks out on here and I don't like that. So that's what I'll do to kind of finish it off afterwards. But I'll wait till I got a whole batch, and then I'll just dunk them all, hang them on the rack, and then they'll be ready to wrap up for Christmas gifts. What else have I got? Oh yeah, the other one is, I've got this one on my small sock, on the other small sock blocker. So this is in West Yorkshire Spinners Pheasant. Put that the right way. And I've done the toe of this one in Cherry Drop. So both West Yorkshire Spinners, but I thought the Cherry Drop was similar enough to the red that's in Pheasant to make a contrast toe. And that was mostly because I'd already knitted a pair in the Pheasant, and I wasn't entirely sure that I would have enough yarn if I did the toe in the Pheasant as well. And I think that was probably right. And these two, so the 2 socks, so the other one, it's not on the blocker, see, it starts at a different point. I didn't do them perfectly matched because, again, it would have meant winding off a few of the stripes, and I thought, I'm going to run out of yarn if I do that. So they're not identical, but I think they're kind of close enough, right? I mean, they don't scream, we're not a pair. So I think I've got away with it, right? You can mostly tell at the heel that it's not the same colours on the heel, but I think it's fine. It just goes to show that they are homemade. So yeah, those are 2 new pairs of socks that I finished this time. The ones that I finished last time I have now blocked, so I'll show you those. So we've got the West Yorkshire Spinners pair. This pair does match. Again, pheasant. You know, pheasant wasn't my favourite one of the birds. Just looking at the ball, I was like, it's probably my least favourite. But then the second I started knitting it up, I was like, oh my god, this is the best one. It's amazing. And the reason that I chose this, these ones are destined to be for my gran, I think. We always would get pheasants in the garden. My gran would feed them, give them names. You know, the one that had a ring around it, you know, they have like a white ring around their neck, some of them. That one's Ringo, so then all the others obviously had to have names of the other beetles. So yeah, just pheasant memories. So yeah, those are destined for my gran. I don't know who these are destined for yet, but this was Candy Cane colourway from West Yorkshire Spinners, which should be back in the shop. Don't tell anyone. And yeah, again, I need to dunk the little cuffs again so that they squeeze back up and are grippy. Yeah, so I've now got 4 pairs of socks finished for Christmas gifts and another pair on the needles, so that's good. I think that's about all I've got finished, other than this, obviously, this gorgeous item, which I showed you at the top of the show. This being my painting brick sweater. I will put all the info down below. I mean, all my socks are just kind of knitted out of here, so there isn't a pattern. They're all just kind of vanilla socks. But I will include details of the yarns as well. And where I don't really know what the yarn is, I'll link to Skein Queen, the dyer. Okay, that's my whips and my FOs. So the next part of the show is new purchases or new acquisitions. So I'm trying so hard not to just buy things. I was really, really pleased when somebody, I think I've told you in the past, I'm doing this group coaching thing at the moment. I was a little bit unsure when I started it because we were about to move house and stuff. And I was like, but actually, I think it's been such a great idea. There's 10 of us in the group, and one of the other women in the group makes decorations. So when we were first starting out with the coaching, she was making pumpkins and things to sell for obviously like Halloween, Thanksgiving, you know, the fall season. And she's based in the US, and then she starts making these like houses as Christmas decorations, and they're gorgeous. And one of them, which I wanted, partly as a Christmas decoration and partly as like a prop for taking product photography for my shop. So as I unwrap it, you will see why. And it arrived ages ago, and I've been saving it for when I record this to unwrap it. So I'm just going to grab it. So I told her that I wanted this, and she said, oh, well, actually, I want one of your Christmas tree scarves. So we did a trade, which was awesome, because then we both had to pay the ridiculously expensive postage for UK to USA and stuff, which, you know, keeps going up, what with the pandemic and everything. Totally understandable. I mean, they're obviously not being able to put mail on passenger flights, you know what I mean? And so they're having to charter their own flights, which obviously costs a lot more. So I love this. It's wrapped up. It's got this amazing like duct tape stuff, but it's got little caravans on it. How cute is that? And reusing an Amazon box, I very much approve. One of the things I've been doing with the Etsy shop is trying to, like when I buy in new packaging, try and make sure that it is like cardboard boxes, you know, things that are recyclable, or things that are recycled. So I use some mailer bags, and they're like compostable plastic, but otherwise trying to use up other stuff that comes in. So I've got these fantastic boxes that when Pip buys filament for his 3D printer, he gets the rolls come in these fantastic boxes, and they're great for putting 2 balls of yarn in. So if somebody buys like 2 balls, you know, a couple of balls of yarn, even 3 balls you can squeeze in there. They're perfect for packaging that up. So, you know, I try and reuse packaging wherever I can, rather than just constantly buying new. I'm hoping customers don't mind. I'm hoping that they get it. This is well packaged. Are you excited? I'm excited. I've been waiting to open this. Bye-bye. And also feeling really bad to Julie, who made it, that that I haven't been able to, you know, squeal about it yet or post it on social media. Oh, it's so cute. Right. Oh, little. What else have I got? Oh. Katharine, I also collect vintage Christmas cards and thought you would like this one, Julie. Oh, show you that one. Okay, let's get this out. Yeah, so these little woodblock houses, and then Julie decorates them. So I will link to her information down in the description below as well. So this little house, isn't that cute? And the little charm, it says Silent Night, and it's the music. Every time I think about this, I start singing it. I won't make you suffer my singing because it's horrendous. I don't have any musical bone in my entire body. The thought is that this would be a fantastic and very subtle prop to put with the Silent Night yarn from West Yorkshire Spinners when I take photos of it for the shop. So I've got Pip poised to do a new product photo shoot, which includes this. And I can pop it on Instagram and stuff as well. And yeah, shout about Julie's lovely Christmas houses. It's just so simple. Oh, so excited. I love it. Yeah, and the Christmas card that Julie included, oh, it's the Silent Night card. How gorgeous is that? I'm going to have to get a little frame for this because that'll be a lovely little Christmas. Oh, and I've got Julie's little business cards too. I really need to get business cards or postcards for the Woolly Rebellion shop too. This is just reminding me that Julie is on Instagram. She's JulieJane247. So yeah, look down below. I'll put a link in as well. Yeah, so she does kind of custom vintage functional art and home decor. And I think everything she sells, the proceeds go to a dog shelter, which is really lovely. And so I've really enjoyed, as part of our coaching course, kind of getting updates about the dog shelter and everything. So yeah, really excited to put the Christmas decorations up. I think we might do it early this year. I think we might put our Christmas decorations up at the weekend. I think we might put the tree up at least at the weekend. So I love putting Christmas decorations up. Pip really loves Christmas too, like probably more than me once we actually get into it. Normally we will put our decorations up sort of first weekend of December, and every day in December Pip will come home with a new Christmas decoration. I'm not sure that will happen this year, what with lockdowns and stuff, but you never know. We've already started, let me tell you. Okay, so other new stuff. Should I do shop stuff first or me stuff first? Let's look at shop stuff, shall we? Yeah, let's look at shop stuff first. Okay, so this morning I had a delivery from West Yorkshire Spinners. So that's really what I've got to update you on for the shop. It's in a giant box here behind me. What have I got from West Yorkshire Spinners? Okay, so some more pheasant because I've had a run on it and I've been knitting with it. So pheasant. And also from the Country Birds range, we have blue tit. These are self-striping sock yarns. So you've seen the pheasant in action. The blue tit is kind of green, yellow, blue, and sort of, yeah, green, yellow, blue, and then that sort of white and grey stripe as well. That one's really popular in the shop. I ran out, so hence a new pack. Then we have the Christmas yarns. This one is Holly Berry. It's all two different greens and a red. Really gorgeous. I like this one. I think it might be my favourite of the Christmas yarns. May have to steal a ball. Maybe. So if you wanted to pair this up and do a contrast peel, I would recommend the red using cayenne pepper from the Spice Rack range, or cardamom being this slightly khaki green. Very nice, yeah. So that's that one. We also have this one, which is Fairy Lights. which is a sort of blue, green, red, and yeah, a sort of cream. Yeah, and it's got sparkle in it. So yeah, it does, it looks like fairy lights basically. It's gorgeous. And this one would pair really well, again, with cayenne pepper for the red, and the green is chocolate lime. So yeah, there's that. We also have the candy cane, the classic. So you saw that I'd made some socks in this at the start of the show. And so this is cream, green and red stripes. The red, again, pairs really well with the cayenne pepper. I had paired it with cherry drop. Just about get away with it. Cayenne pepper is better. And the green, again, the chocolate lime. And Wet Shortcake Spinners do have the plain cream as well, but I don't have that one in the shop, unfortunately. And this one is Robin, which is a Christmas one, but also from Country Birds as well. So yeah, it's all based on, obviously, the little robin redbreast, very Christmassy. So we have that nice, I don't really know how to describe the colour, but it's called turmeric. That's the contrast colour that goes really well with this one. Again, you could pair it with the red of cayenne pepper, or even probably the grey of poppy seed. So yeah, there's that turmeric, brown, red, grey in here. It's a really nice one, super classy. My mum loves robins, so she's had a few balls of this from me. I love this one too. So I think that's a restock of all the Christmas yarns apart from the new blue one with sparkle, which is Silent Night. And it seems like that one has just sold out. So I did reorder it, but didn't get sent it. So that means that there probably isn't any left. So if you can find it somewhere, snap it up, basically. I think I've got a ball or two left. So I may be able to restock the, kind of ultimate sock knitting bundle in the shop. Maybe just one of those. It's all 5 of the yarns with a pattern book and a needle. A little bit cheaper than buying everything individually. Then I've also got some little bundles on the shop as well, which are kind of the Christmas yarn and a contrast colour. And I've also got some bundles, which is like 2 balls of your favourite one with the Christmas socks pattern book. So yeah, I've kind of mixed them up and put them in kind of different permutations and things. So yeah, or you can just buy the yarn straight up, just however many balls of each one you want as well. So if you just want a robin, you can just go buy a robin, or if you want a robin and a fairy lights, you can go do that as well. So yeah, pretty much every permutation you can think of, I've got you covered. You can also buy the pattern book on its own as well. It's all good. I now have proper envelopes, proper card, do not bend envelopes to dispatch those in, so no more kind of recycling cardboard boxes, and in order to keep them nice and flat. That's Christmas yarns and Country Birds yarns restocked. I have also branched out into some of the other Bo Peep yarn. So Bo Peep is West Yorkshire Spinners baby yarn. So every time I bring the yarn near the camera, it makes everything go dark. Anyway, this is a colourway called Spellbound, and it's kind of a minty green, purple and cream, variegated, very cute. And this is a 4-ply. It's 52% wool and 48% nylon. So this will go in the washing machine, which is obviously one of the things you really look for in a baby yarn, whereas the Bo Peep Pure is 100% wool and you would need to hand wash that one. So that's something to keep in mind. It's suitable for babies, but does require a bit more effort on the washing. Yeah, so this one, it says, a gentle 40 wash will be fine, but do not tumble dry and reshape while damp. So yeah, the usual stuff. I could turn it up the right way so that the Bo Peep logo made sense. Would also be good, wouldn't it? So yeah, the owners behind starting to stock these a colleague of mine in the recruitment industry has some family members who knit mostly for babies, and asked if I could put together some gifts. So I was like, yes, of course. This sounds like the most fun ever. So that's what I've been doing, and that's what this will form a part of. But it also means that I can start stocking these in the shop as well. So I have bought also the mint green and the purple. Let's get this a bit closer so you can see what I'm on about. I'm not sure how well that's really picking up the colour, but let me show you the two other colours that I bought that should go with this one. You know, I say purple, I mean like this lilac-y, you know, nice baby purple. I'm not a huge purple fan, but it's just something about this with the mint green. I was like, yes. And this is a nice sort of pastel-y mint green. So hopefully that helps you envisage what that variegated one is really like. Yeah. So we just started with those 3 colours in the Bo Peep 4-ply. So if you're doing any baby knitting and you fancy some of that, go check out the Woolly Rebellion shop. Also, I'm considering putting gift boxes for knitters in the shop as well, because yeah, this really got me thinking, this request from my colleague. Okay, Christmas is coming up. People want to get the knitters in their lives something for Christmas, and they want to know that it's something they're going to like. But if you're not a knitter yourself, you might be like, well, you know, if I walk into a yarn shop or I go to Hobbycraft or whatever, how do I know what to choose? So, you know, you might know a little bit, like, oh yeah, that person generally knits for babies, or likes to make toys, or they like bright, vibrant colours, or, you know, you probably know a bit about the knitting habits of your loved one who knits, but you might not be a knitter. So I'm thinking I could list some gift boxes at sort of maybe 3 different price points, and ask for a word or phrase for me to use as inspiration. So yeah, this is a little idea that I'm kind of bubbling around in my head, and then I could draw from stock in the shop. I could buy in things specifically for the gift boxes sometimes, and yeah, so this is just something I figure it could run all year, because you know, knitters have birthdays as well as celebrate Christmas. Some don't even celebrate Christmas, they celebrate other things. So yeah, yeah, this is just something that I've been playing around with. But yeah, that's what has sparked some of the baby yarns coming into the Woolly Rebellion shop. What else? Yes, I do have another new acquisition. This one's for me, not so much for the shop, and not so much Christmas or knitting related at all. The other acquisition is here on my desk. It's not quite as bulky, in these 2 envelopes. You may remember, if you subscribe to the Woolly Rebellion newsletter, a few weeks ago, I included a link to some new stamps from Royal Mail, which are Star Trek themed. That's what I imagine this is. I'm going to be very surprised if it's something else, because it's mail from Royal Mail. And yeah, stamps. Star Trek stamps. Yes, I'm using a knitting needle as a letter opener, like you would expect anything else. So first up, what have we got here? We have got the presentation pack. Okay, so let's have a look at this. It's very shiny. It's really catching the light and making it difficult. So we have kind of your usual Star Trek suspects, I think, along the top. We've got some captains, and then underneath are the stamps, I think a couple of usual suspects, but then also British actors in Star Trek. So I think that's why we've got Gabriel Lorca up here from Discovery, because that's obviously Jason Isaacs. It's really difficult to get it to not be shiny. Okay, so that's a presentation pack. Oh, I'm going to shine it out. I'm shine it, a little slide it out. It's still shiny though, because shiny. Ooh, space, the final frontier. Okay, yeah, so we've got some beats. I'm going to have reading to do. Oh, it's so cute. Yes, there's a little bit about each Star Trek show. And one each of the square first class stamps from the TV shows. There were also stamps from the movies, and I was really kind of struggling to figure out how to get those. Oh, but they're just kind of also in the presentation pack. So we've got movie people who are British, and then just also, yeah, we've got movie people who are British. Don't know why I'm being a bit slow. We've got Idris Elba on there, David Warner, Tom Hardy, Simon Pegg. The other two I can't remember, sorry. I should probably have the website open for the stamps, shouldn't I? Yep, slide that back into its little protective thingy. Probably shouldn't have got my greasy mitts on it at all, but what's the point in having these things if you can't enjoy them, eh? So that was the presentation pack. But then I also wanted some stamps that I could actually use. So I'm thinking that might be what's in this one. So what have we got in here? Ah, this is exciting. So I have some card in here to keep everything unbendy. Ah, this is too much. And then I have pages of stamps. So that is Spock plus the Brits. It seems to be on this one. And this page is the captains. I also ordered some envelopes, I think. Maybe I didn't in the end. Maybe I took them off the order. I thought I'd ordered some envelopes with Star Trek and stuff on. I also thought I'd ordered a first day cover. Okay, so I've got my half sheets of stamps and I've got my presentation pack. Well, okay, maybe the rest will appear, or maybe I actually didn't order what I thought I ordered. I'll go back and check. Basically, if you get a Christmas card from me, it will have a Star Trek stamp on it. Deal with it. Yeah, those are awesome. If you'd like a Christmas card from me with a Star Trek stamp on it, please let me know. If you leave a comment or something, I'll get in touch with you and we can arrange that. Star Trek stamps. KNITFLIXIng is the final section of the show. We've covered guinea pigs, we've covered knitting, we've covered new acquisitions. It's going to be a long show this time. So yeah, KNITFLIXIng is the part of the show where I share what I've been watching or listening to whilst knitting since the last episode. So quite a lot really, I think. So since then, what have we watched on the TV? So Star Trek Discovery, new season has started. We're up to episode 5, I think. The last episode I watched was called Die Trying. Yeah, so I don't want to spoil anything for anyone, but I'm enjoying it. Enjoying the new characters very much. Loving that it's a Star Trek show where, you know, your main cast can come and go. Because obviously that breeds longevity. The show is bigger than any one person. I suppose Michael Burnham is probably the only person who the show would not continue without. And but yeah, I like that. Something that I feel a show like The Walking Dead started, that you can have a show that's bigger than your core ensemble cast. You can just move on the way that real life is. You know, people come and go. What else? We decided to finish watching Suits. Suits is something I suppose I started watching probably 2014, something like that. 2015, at some point when I was living in Reading anyway. And then I went back and started it again with Pip because I thought he would like it, and he did. But we got to about season 7 and we were like, this is just the same stuff over and over. We couldn't stick with it. I think there was a real lull in episodes and we were like, you know, it lost steam at one point. I think towards the end of series 6, beginning of season 7, it really lost steam, and we stopped. You know, the other evening we were looking for something new to watch, and I just said we could finish Suits. I was pretty much joking because we got kind of sick of it towards the end. But then Pip said, "Yeah, all right, I could do that," and I was like, "Okay, I guess we're doing this." So yeah, we did finish Suits, and I gotta tell you, you know, if it wasn't for Lewis Litt, we would not have made it through. Well, I wouldn't have made it through anyway. I would have been like, you know, seriously, that's not even bother. You may notice that I have been very appropriately drinking out of my "you just got lit up" mug. So you'll get that if you watch Suits. If you don't, I'm sorry. I don't know if I would recommend Suits to people. It's a lot of lawyering, and it's a lot of the same, and it's a lot of characters that you're just like, oh my god, these people. Oh. What else have we watched? We kind of always have Bob's Burgers on in the background. We will always watch an episode of Bob's Burgers with our lunch. Pip and I always break for lunch together. Well, this year we have been since the first lockdown. We've, you know, obviously both found ourselves at home all day. We both work from home, but we have kind of a standing appointment at 1 o'clock to meet for lunch. We make a sandwich or cook a pizza or something, and then we sit on the sofa, watch an episode of Bob's Burgers, eat our lunch, have a little gossip and catch up on our mornings, and then we go back to work. So yeah, Bob's Burgers is always on, and once a week we're getting a new episode at the moment, which is lovely. Yeah, so this week's episode, trying to remember what it was now. Yeah, yeah, I really like this week's episode. There's an accident at the restaurant, and everyone thinks it's their fault. What else? So watching Suits like the whole way through. So we started again, I think, at season 6, and so we watched 6, 7, 8, 9. Oh my god, have we watched 4 seasons of Suits since I last spoke to you? I watch so much TV, seriously. So towards the end of Suits, I'm just watching it thinking, you know, I like a bit of lawyering, but I was just watching it thinking, I want to be watching Better Call Saul, not this. I want that. I want, you know, not lawyers in New York doing, you know, highfalutin things. I want lawyers in Albuquerque doing small town things. And slightly, I don't know, is it dodgier lawyering? I mean, Suits is kind of dodgy as well. But yeah, I was cheating on Suits in my head with Better Call Saul. So when we got to the end of Suits, I said to Pip, I think it's time that I introduce you to this universe. So I had watched Breaking Bad, or bits of Breaking Bad, but never really got into it. But I'd always thought Saul was an interesting character, so I'd started watching Better Call Saul and just loved it. I must have watched it 3 or 4 times. Sort of every time there's a new season, I rewatch everything from the beginning. Just adore it. And I then watched Breaking Bad as well, just so that I was a bit of a completist. Let's face it, I just suffered the rest of Suits, just for the sake of completeness. So we're already well into season 2, if not, I think we finished season 2 last night, because it's kind of the moment with Chuck and the tape recorder, isn't it, at the end of season 2, and that's where we got to last night. So so yeah, if you watch, you'll know what I mean. If you don't watch, then hopefully that hasn't spoiled anything, or you will have forgotten by the time you get there. I just love it. I suppose Breaking Bad is watching a good person, you know, spiral away from that, and you wonder, are they spiraling away from who they are, or are they spiraling toward who they are, really? And I suppose this is, again, watching a person change, but it's like, you know what they're going to change into. And, you know, just the whole time you're watching it, you're like, what is going to happen that's going to cause this change. You know, this person who you can feel such affection for, you know, and you see that their intentions, you know, come from a good place most of the time. But you just know where they're going, and you're like, wow. And also, you know, the characters who are not in Breaking Bad, and you're just like, oh. Yeah, it's just, the whole thing is just what gets us from here to there. And you have to watch. I would recommend, even if you've not watched Breaking Bad. You know, there's a few moments where I'm like, okay, the reason that this character's introduction is like a cliffhanger is because we know them from Breaking Bad. And I sometimes have to give Pip a little bit, like, you know, this is who this person is, and that's why, you know, it's kind of a freeze frame at the end of the episode on somebody's reveal. That's about it. You don't have to have watched Breaking Bad to enjoy Better Call Saul. I think it's amazing. I mean, Netflixing is kind of the end. So, I guess that's kind of the end. To have a look in the description below for information on patterns, yarns, stuff that I've mentioned during the show. And I hope you are doing well. Since I last spoke to you, I have had a bit of a cough. So Pip and I went for COVID tests, which came back negative, and we've not really been anywhere since then. Pretty much been in isolation. We haven't been able to do markets because of the second lockdown. Some markets are going ahead, but only with essential stalls, so things like foods and stuff. Knitting is not considered essential, so I've been having a break from going out and doing markets. I did record a little video for a recruitment client yesterday, and while editing it, I thought, my voice has changed. Like, having a bit of a cough I felt like my voice was different. I almost didn't recognise it. So I don't know if you can tell or whether it's just me imagining things, but yeah, my voice seemed deeper. I don't know. I might be imagining it. It's not grown into any other symptoms or anything, so pretty happy that it's just a little bit of a winter cough. So take care of yourselves and knit some things, basically. Have fun. Put your Christmas decorations up whenever you feel like it. You're allowed. I give you permission. And I will see you next time for more fun.
You two are just the cutest, aren't you?